Welcome to 2021. Yay! All right. Great news. You have another shot to take. You got another shot at winning. Isn't that awesome? You made it, no matter how hard it became, how difficult it may have seemed. You are still here. Dolores Jones, your comeback coach, is my name. I want to help you. I don't want to. I'm going to help you bounce back better, not bitter, through life experiences and bad situations. I've already declared that 2021 is my year of creativity, prosperity, and tremendous victory. You have to decide what you want. And so now that you have another shot, I want to help you get your plans together, get your act right together. So I'm saying hello to all of my Facebook followers, my YouTube subscribers, DeloresJonesTV, and Instagram at My Comeback Coach. I am delighted to have you with me today to kick off your third day in January. Oh, is this your second? January 2nd? All right. Okay, I got you. I'm already into the 3. I'm already into the next day. That's what winners do. They're planning ahead. So let me share this with you. There are going to be a couple of things you need to do, about at least 3 or 4. Okay, 3 or 4, but you can do more, and I may give them to you a little later. But number one, in order to take another shot this time and win, you have to decide to push yourself. Honey, it's enough pushing somebody else. Almost difficult to push yourself. Now, you can take that acronym to mean a lot of different things, but you have to push your own self. You got to say, come on, Jones. You have to step outside of yourself and talk to yourself, Nadine. You say, Dolores Jones, yes. You do know you're about to get up. Okay. Dolores Jones, yes. Are you tripping? Okay. See, you gotta push yourself. Now, the acronym that I heard when I first heard push was pray until something happens. Praise until something happens. Persevere until something happens. Something happens in your favor. That's exactly right. You have to decide to push yourself. You can't wait for somebody to say, I think you should, or I think you can. And what I've discovered is sometimes the person or the people you want to help you are not necessarily the people or the person that God's going to allow to help you. I want you to think about that, because just because a person has a connection does not mean that they're going to connect you with their connections. And you can't get mad at them. You cannot. Now, it's hard because you're like, don't you know what it's like to be struggling out here in these streets? You know? And some people, let's just be honest, some people want to do better, and they want you to do better as long as you don't do better than they are, as long as you don't look better than they are, as long as you don't sound better than they are. That's just part of life. So what you need to do is you decide to push yourself. You throw it out, cast out your net, all right, with the spirit of expectation. This time, I'm going to pull in something to win. I'm going to decide to push myself. Remember, you're never going to feel like it. You just have to make a decision to go with it. Number 2, discontinue and disconnect from negative, toxic people and mindsets. This is by far the number 1 point. Because once you start to disconnect and discontinue relationships and a negative mindset, then you are going to push yourself. You're going to see your value. Earlier today, I was like, Dolores, you know what? This year is your year, girl. You got $1 million voice. You got $1 million story. You got the looks. You got the brains. You got the sound. And nobody has to tell me this year. I've heard it over and over again. But there comes a point you have to take ownership of that stuff and go, I'm going all in. I got to redo my wardrobe. Because when you're disconnecting and discontinuing things, that means I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm not paying for it, and I didn't want it, and I don't ask for it. You're sitting at a restaurant, you order your filet mignon or whatever, and they come in there bringing you some fried chicken. And you're going to say, thank you for the fried chicken. I'm glad you know. No, sir, I didn't order fried chicken. I ordered filet mignon. And your filet mignon. And then you got to wait, because sometimes what you're asking for requires a little bit more preparation. I was thinking about my life the other day, honey. Listen, when I was in college many, many years ago, my undergrad at Missouri School of Journalism, there was this young man that I couldn't shake, honey. He was into me. His name was Tim Payne. And I was too immature and I was such a people's pleaser that I wasn't allowing Tim to love me. Tim adored Dolores Jones. He was a graduate student. Tim would come to the Kojic church and he's sitting there rocking. He would come to my home parties and sit there, and Tim stuck out because Tim was white and he had red hair. But Tim loved him some Dolores Jones, honey. And one day Tim said to me, Dolores, I was talking to my sister and I've never been in love before, but when I told her how I feel about you, Dolores, I love you. And I was so out of my mind and allowing other people to tell me what to do, to make a shot, tell me what to do. I looked at Tim and I said, Tim, I already know who I have to marry. And he was crushed. Tim was crushed, y'all. I started thinking about what would have happened if in that moment when Tim told me that he loved me, that I could recognize really what love is, what it looks like, what it feels like. Forget the differences, forget diversity, just love, how he would pour it onto me every day. And we didn't have sex. You know, some people think, well, once I give him the cookie, he's going to do this. No, there are people who are so into you, they just want to be with you because they know eventually that will come. But if they start out with that, you know, and you giving up the cupcakes and the cookies, okay, all right. Either you're the full meal or you're an appetizer. Now you get to decide. You know, you get the appetizer first. You get the full meal after you wait a little while, longer. You got another shot to take, honey. I was sitting there thinking, man, my life could have looked very, very differently. A lot differently. But I missed it that time. But this time, I have a different shot. I looked at 25 years of my life, was full of pain and disappointment and misery. I had some great comebacks and, you know, I stepped out there and I got distracted by what I thought was love or toxic people who acted as if they were in my corner. It happens to all of us. But what I proved to myself is you can do this. You bought a house before, you bought a car before, baby girl, you've been on TV, you still got what it takes. You got distracted. Now don't you dare stay defeated. Got another opportunity. What does that look like? One of the things that I did, I got up today. I said, Dolores, you're going to take some risks. I started practicing what I am going to say when I am introducing one or two or three of these award shows. I've always wanted to introduce on BET. I wanted to say people's names. I want to walk on the red carpet and interview people. So I found someone today. She's doing exactly that. And I said, you know what? She don't know me, but we gonna meet. And I just sent it out there. Now, then I got somebody else that I got to connect with. Dolores, when you don't have your demo, well, I'm gonna have to make one. Coming to the stage, Denzel Washington, Kerry Washington, Kirk Franklin, and many more. Thank you for watching BET Music Awards. Baby, I got that. I got it. God gave it to me. Now I have to put it on paper. I got to put it on the tape and I got to circulate it. All right. So you decide to push, you're disconnecting and discontinuing relationships with people who are toxic. They're talking trash, trying to kick you. Come on, Jesus, let me stay focused. Okay. Number 3, say number 3. You must be relentless, honey. What does it mean to be relentless? Relentless means no matter what you see, you're going to find a way around it, over it, under it, or through it. Being relentless means you are resourceful. That means if they shut the door in your face at the front door, then you find some windows. There's more windows usually in a building than there are doors. Or maybe you're like the man who had the friends, and they were trying to get to Jesus, and they had him on a cot, and the doors were blocked off by everybody else had problems too. Just get in line. But they said, you know what? We're going to take you up to the top, and we're going to put a hole in the roof. And we're going to lower you down into it. So you got to be unconventional sometimes. That's why some people fly, some people drive, some people take trains, some people do all kinds of things. Here's the thing, that's not the only way to get there. And when you start to remember that, now you got another shot. You got another shot. I am so excited for you. Have you been practicing? Remember, Oprah said it like this. There's no such thing as luck, but if she had to define it, it's when preparation meets opportunity. Not where have you been? You've been practicing. What you practice in private shows up in public. If you say you're a singer, then you're going to get your butt up. And if somebody says, sing to me, you're not going to say, you mean right now? No. You own, baby. The life is a stage. The world is a stage. You playing a role. I have someone who watches my one video about Toni Braxton and I singing on stage together in Las Vegas. Baby, I'm there for the National Association National Association of Black Journalists, NABJ. And she was there for her residency, honey. I'm sitting in the crowd. I knew I love me some Toni Braxton. She has gotten me through a lot of things. She has told my story over and over again. And this was the opportunity of a lifetime. So there are hundreds of thousands of people in Las Vegas inside of the Toni Braxton concert. Toni said, I'm looking for someone. When she said someone, my hand shot up in the air. Well, why would you do that? Because I already knew what she was about. You don't volunteer for stuff when you don't know anything about it. I knew that Toni Braxton was up there as a Grammy award-winning singer. She's an actress. And she was holding a microphone that was encrusted in diamonds. I said, I belong up there with her. When she said, I want somebody to come and sing with me, I said, I will. And not only my hand, baby, I stood up. Everybody else was sitting down. Their hands was up, but you could not deny all of this. 5'10" and 6 feet with stilettos on. But most importantly, it was my confidence. And she said, well, you come on up. I was like, I didn't have time to say, well, what I got on? Is something wrong? Honey, the person I was with, I didn't even think about it. I got to go. I got to go. I didn't have time to explain. Sometimes when you are going about what it is you're supposed to do, you don't have time to explain. Sometimes you go with the people who are going to go with you. When it's time to go bust a move, let's bust a move. Honey, I got to sing in Toni Braxton's song. I looked up and I am on that stage in Vegas and the lights are on me and it's dark, but it's beautiful. And I'm singing and all of a sudden I realized that Toni Braxton was no longer standing next to me. She decided that I was doing such an awesome job that she was going to let me finish her song. Girl, Bonita. Hey, Lyle, Dr. Gibson. Let me tell y'all something. I was doing such a great job. She said, I'm going to let her finish my song. You got to be ready. It's like when Iyanla met Oprah. Oprah saw something in Iyanla, but Iyanla had been on welfare. She had been working through stuff. She had been in abusive marriages. And you know what? Oprah said, you know what? I'm going to give her my stage on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, I'm going to have Iyanla. And then they had a fallout. And it lasted for 10 years. Why? Because Iyanla said she still had a welfare mentality. See, that's why when you're getting ready for your next shot, your mentality has to be on point. And so something happened and somebody was trying to sneak and give Iyanla a TV show. And Oprah probably felt something about it because she had said it's not time. And you know, Iyanla said, the Spirit said. So Oprah said, well, I'm going to get out of the way because the Spirit said. And then it flopped. And then for 10 years, these two powerful women weren't speaking. I was heartbroken. But Iyanla got another shot, honey. She went on Oprah's show and they played out their apology. It was powerful. And next thing you know, Oprah gave Iyanla a show called Fix My Life. And it has lasted for 8 years. And Iyanla said she is finished now. She's on to the next thing. You got another shot. Don't sit there listening to people who are going nowhere fast, telling the same old jokes, the same old stories, cooking the same old hard cornbread. I don't know where that came from. Jesus, I'm hungry. And want some black eyed peas and some cabbage. Dolores Jones is my name, your comeback coach, showing you how to bounce back better, not bitter, through life experiences and bad decisions. It's 2021, baby. You got things to get done. Decide to push yourself. Discontinue relationships and mindsets that don't serve you. Be relentless. Here's another thing. Separate what you do from who you are. I had to learn that. Because some days you're going to do a great job on your job. And some days you're going to not do so well. Performers know this. But when you separate who you really are from what you do, you keep it in balance. See, when I was a radio personality, award-winning personality to be exact, I was so into being on the radio. And people would treat me a certain way because I was on the radio. Dolores, can you give me some tickets? Dolores this, Dolores that. And it felt good. I ain't even gonna lie. You know, walking in places and you ain't gotta pay. I was on one. But when the pink slip came with the paycheck, and it wasn't that I was fired, I had to make a decision. At the time, I had one of the coveted spots. Afternoon drive, as Dolores Jones, the Drive Time Diva, baby. My supervisor decided he wanted my spot and that he wanted me to do Love After Dark. Well, I had a 3-year-old at home, and working overnights was not optional. So when he came in and said that to me, while I was on the air, I just said, okay, God, what are we about to do? Because see, you're never alone. You're never alone. What we going to do, Lord? You're going to go back to school. You're going to get your master's degree in social work. Okay. And then just pay attention to what I tell you to do. So I resigned, went back to school, 2002, worked on my master's in social work. 2004, I completed it. I was a single mom. I bought my first home with $28,000 a year, my first convertible with $28,000 a year. And check this out. After I graduated in 2004 with my master's degree, because of my journalism experience, I got what they call a practicum and an internship that usually is free. But because I had the right people in my corner, I was able to name my price. That changed the game for me. Completely changed the game. Then I got my first job as a social worker, working for people living with HIV and AIDS. It's important to give back. You understand? It's important to give back. Then I got a call from someone. They said, Dolores, they're getting ready to turn they're creating a show. This show didn't even exist, but God had told me he owns stuff. He owns 1,000 cattle on 1,000 hills. Baby, a radio show and a TV show ain't nothing for him. That's a drop in the bucket. Boop, okay. So they said, Dolores, we want you to go out for it. And I was like, okay. Fear set in. Okay, Lord. They said, just go in there and be yourself. My friend Mia Ramsey, I saw her. I said, Mia, she said, Dolores, you go in there and do it, D. You got this, D-Lo. You got this, D-Lo. So I go into the audition, and they had words that I could not pronounce because this was a part of the National Public Radio Network. This wasn't just music. I was out of my element. God, I'm like, what? So I'm reading the script with my personality. And when I couldn't pronounce the words, y'all, I said, and kept going with the words that I could pronounce. I just said, I know I blew it. That was my negative part of my conversation. Say, oh, girl, you done blew this now. You know you didn't know any of those words, honey. I got the call back, and they said, Dolores, we want you to be the host of this show. It was your personality. Now, we know you can get the words. So next thing you know, KC Currents with your host, Delores Jones, was born. And it became an award-winning news magazine show. Now, I still had struggles with pronouncing all those words from people from different countries and stuff. But what the producer would do for me, Sylvia Maria Gross, she knew the words because she was from another country. So she said, Delores, this is what I'm going to do. While you are not here, because I was still working full time, and I would take my lunch breaks to go and record the show and do interviews. So Sylvia said, I'm going to record the words on tape that you don't know. Okay? Yes. And they'll be there for you. So when you come in to record the show, listen to the words. And I would listen to the words and then record what I needed to record. And that was the process. And next thing you know, we won several awards for that show. They did it up. Baby, they had magazine covers and postcards and everything. But I had a shot. But it was also out of my comfort zone. What am I trying to say to you? 2021, you got to get stuff done. Reflect on your victories. Disconnect, y'all. Disconnect. And discontinue relationships that don't serve you. And make sure that you separate what you do from who you are. I am a child of the Most High God. You can't debate that. I am his daughter. He is my father, my heavenly father. He is able to enable me to do the impossible. So no matter if I'm on YouTube, Facebook, a TV station, I'm still Delores Jones, the comeback coach. I'm still Delores Jones, Dolores Mae Jones, Marianne Jones's daughter, Dolores Barnett's granddaughter, and Beatrice Caldwell's great-granddaughter. You better ask somebody. I can see my mama just sitting in heaven now. She left when she was 21 years old. I was 5. And the irony of it is, when she passed away at 21, she was a pre-education major at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. And she died months before her graduation. Her birthday was in February, and her graduation was supposed to be in May of that year. Well, years later, although I went to school at Donnelly, and I was homeless and living in a hotel and bathing in the basement bathroom, and going to class and doing my homework in the library before the school closed, earned a 4.0 GPA, which is the highest you can go, and a presidential scholarship to pay for my entire stay at Donnelly College, and graduated with a 4.0 for 2 years straight. All hell was breaking loose. I was doing homework by candles. But what I learned in that situation is you can be struggling. Just because you're struggling don't mean you're stupid. Be careful who you make fun of. Be careful the people you walk over. Because you may walk over them, but you'll go lower. You understand what I'm saying? We're in this thing together. Be careful. So after that period of time, I go away to college. I get my Bachelor's of Broadcast Journalism degree. I come back, and one of my professors said, Delores, I want to enable you. I want to help you become a college professor. I was like, what? So I ended up becoming a college instructor and then up to a college professor at the same college that my mother was a student at. You can't tell me God ain't good. And then several years after that, at least 11 years later, my son, my mother's grandson, graduated with a degree from Kansas City, Kansas Community College. You need to look at somebody and say, it's a setup. That's a setup, baby. It's a setup. You're being set up for a comeback. You got one more shot. Yesterday is gone. Today is right now in the present. Presently, what do you have planned? And you can't just sit there and say, I don't know. You got to be intentional, honey. You got to be intentional. You want to be on TV? Do like I did back when I was a kid. People would say, Dolores, you used to grab a hairbrush and talking about, they say, Dee, that's my family called me. They say, I was sitting there and say, I want to interview you. I said, girl, I don't even remember doing that. She said, Dee, you used to interview everybody in the neighborhood with your hairbrush. When it's in you, it's got to come out. Here's my last point. Release the emergency brakes. Okay, you know, like I'm here in my SUV. And if I put this SUV in drive, but the emergency brake is on, I'm not going to go anywhere. Why? Because the brake is on. And have you ever taken your car out of it? Out of the emergency brake, you released it, right? And you hit the gas and you went real fast. That's what you got to do. And it's okay, because you can see it coming. And honestly, I was like, God, it's going to come real fast. I know it is. I can feel it in my spirit and my pinky toe. He's like, it's okay. I prepared you for this. I prepared you for this. You remember when you were let down? You remember when you were let go? You remember when you were abused and talked about and mistreated, mishandled, molested? All of that. You remember when you was fired? You remember when Mr. So-and-so told you you weren't a good journalist? You remember the divorce? Yeah, I prepared you for the next phase. Because see, there's certain things that you can conquer that when you go into another situation, you be like, baby, that ain't no big deal. One day I was trying to get a car and the lady reneged on the loan. And I heard myself say, Dolores, you buried your mother when you were 5 years old. This ain't no big deal. You got to put that stuff in perspective. All right? Now holler back at your girl. Type in there, I hear you. And I want you to share the video. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited. You lost a few things, but you still have a lot more left, baby. Drive it until the wheels come off. When you feel yourself going back into feeling insecure and you know, inferior, you got to stop yourself and say, wait a minute, devil. Not today, not now, not never. I've been there. It's like they told the devil, you should have killed me while you had a chance. But now I'm alive, as the Terminator said. He said, I'm back. When this hits you, this video hits you, I want you to type in the comments, I hear you. And since you hear me, I want you to do something with it. I need you to do something with it. 2021, somebody's waiting for your invention. They're waiting for your book. They're waiting for your song. You know, we got a lot of African-American actors, but guess what? We got more than that. You know, sometimes I'm watching the movies. I love black folk. I love black movies. But I said to myself, now we've got to stop recycling the black people. Why? Because some of y'all won't get out there and audition for nothing. But I said, Lord, you know, that's something else on my bucket list. I want to act. I want to meet Tyler Perry. And just do a cameo or something. You got what it takes. Now get to going. Take the emergency brake off. Delores Jones, your comeback coach, is my name. Hey, make it an incredible 2021. I have a lot of things coming for you. Do me a favor. Make sure you share the video. Share the video. Share the video. Okay. Hit the notification button so you'll be here. So you are in here when I come back. Just to recap, I gave you 4 things. Number 1, decide to push yourself. Nobody else is going to do that for you. Number 2, disconnect and discontinue relationships with negative people, toxic people, and negative mindsets. Number 3, you got to be relentless, baby. You got to be resourceful. Now, some of y'all can relate to this. If you don't have a can opener at home, y'all type in the comments, what do y'all do? How do you open it? I know some of y'all know this. Stop laughing. I know you know this. This is called being resourceful. You get a knife, baby. You bang that knife down in there and you get to... I watch my grandmother do it all the time. You got to be resourceful. Be relentless. Make Know your vitamin. Keep knocking. Double your efforts. A man was complaining about not making his sales. And the top seller said, double your efforts. He said, how many calls are you making? He said, 25. He said, do 20, do 50, do 75, do 100. He said, that's a lot. Well, that's the problem. Double those efforts. And lastly, separate what you do from who you are. Because there will be challenges. And you will fail forward. You'll fall forward. So that particular opportunity didn't work out. What are you going to do about it? You're going to get back up and keep going. Say you're a public speaker and you stand up there and your mind goes blank and you can't even remember the words. What do? You say, hey, it didn't work out this time, but next time it's going to be better. This isn't an all or nothing, what I mean. You know what I'm saying? As you're going through and you're bouncing back better, you take what you've learned and you apply it. And anything that disturbed you was the distraction, it was ineffective, ineffective, whatever the word is. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Then don't do that again. You must be willing to do the things today that others are not willing to do in order to have the things tomorrow that others don't have. That's the formula. Everybody that you admire, they had to choose to do something. Somebody had to choose to do their homework while everybody else was playing kickball. Les Brown was shining shoes and listening to motivational speakers, and now he is a world-renowned motivational speaker. See, whatever it is you want to do, just do a little bit of it, right? And take your shot, baby. It's coming. They blow the whistle. You better be ready to go. Ready to go. Sometimes, ladies, are you ready to go? You gotta have to run outside without your shoes on. Because you can get some more shoes, but you don't want to let that opportunity pass you by. If fear wants to go, say, come on with me, but don't you say not a doggone thing. Do it afraid. Okay, I think I'm done right now. I'm going to go back and watch this myself and make it rain, baby, okay? Have yourself a wonderful 2021. I'll be back to check on you soon and take you along with me on this journey. I know. I just feel it. It is your time. It is your time. It is your season. We need you, baby. Need you like a fat boy needs some cake. Okay? Definitely want some German chocolate cake right now, Lord. I rebuke that spirit of chocolate off of me because my hips say no, but my stomach says yes. Y'all pray for me. Release me, chocolate. I appreciate you. Dolores Jones, the Comeback Coach, is my name. Go ahead and click tag, share the video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is DeloresJonesTV, as well as Instagram at My Comeback Coach, and Facebook. Y'all know I'm Dolores May Jones, and Dolores Jones, your Comeback Coach. I appreciate you. Mwah! There's more where that came from. See you later.